There'll be a transgender in your soup. I'll be right back.
So please excuse my sarcastic tone. I'm a bit underwhelmed by the sample shown. Mr. Piss-drunk fraternity guy, you got my asshole, bloodshot eyes. Get drunk and fight every night. Idolize Bradley, belittle women's rights. Homophobic, racist, and don't give a fucking hey. Do you think you can drive a bigger truck? So wear your baseball cap to the side to let everyone know that you're a nice guy. So cool, was so impressed. Lots of chicks in a barrel chest. Cause you're a real man. Punch for punch, gonna piss in your face while you're passed out drunk. I'm a nice guy, you're a nice guy. He's a nice guy, but all of you are assholes. I'm a nice guy, you're a nice guy. She's a nice guy, but all of you are assholes. Nice guys rule the planet. Oh, I just can't understand it. Conquer divine by deception and lies. Social Darwinism and an overdose of pride. Fuck off, jerk off. I don't wanna hear it. Fuck off, jerk off. Read into the lyrics, cause everybody gets their just desserts. As long as you remember that nice guys finish Mr. White Beater, you're next on the list. Such a nice guy who speaks through his fists. Prick with a penchant for messing with heads. A broken nose for dinner and breakfast in bed. Alcoholic, paranoid, and suicidal too. But you'll probably kill her before she gets away from you. She lives in a pool of blood and cry. All your friends say that you're a nice guy. Have a drink, this one's on me. Look, you're doing fine, losing to your disease. Comatose, I'll pack your bags. Bury you like cats, read and gag. I'm a nice guy, you're a nice guy. We're all nice guys, but all of you are assholes. He's a nice guy, she's a nice guy. Hey, Tom Bone's a nice guy. All of you are assholes. Nice guys rule the planet. The public benefit. Put a body by deception and lies. Social Darwinism and an overdose of pride. Fuck off, jerk off. I don't wanna hear it. Fuck off, jerk off. Read into the lyrics. So let the bloody spill quench your thirst. As long as you remember that nice guys finish first.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Plex. We usually do this show on Sundays, but we're recording on a Monday this week. You can find this podcast anywhere that you find podcasts. If you're listening on the podcast, I don't know, follow the show, tell a friend. If you'd like the whole show, including Red Light, which will be truncated tonight because we have a DJ event a little bit later, you can subscribe for $5 or more every month at patreon.com/echoplex or at eplex.store. You can also just go to the website, click the support link at the top of the page, the homepage, that's echoplexmedia.com, and you can find other ways to support this program. People watching live on Twitch, you know how the monetization works here. I'm producer Dave. You can find me on Blue Sky at Plex-Dave, and I am here to remind you of one very, very important thing.
Everything's fine, and everything's fine, and it's great. Thanks. Everything's fine, what do you do? Sorry I'm late, I kept hitting snooze. It's just one of those days. You know what they say. It is what it is. Ignorance is bliss. When it rains, it pours. Couldn't ask for more. What goes around comes around, all in good time. I guess that your guess is as good as mine. Everything's fine and everything's fine and it's great. Thanks. Everything's fine and everything's fine and it's great. Thanks. Everything's fine and everything's fine and it's great. Thanks. Everything's fine and everything's fine. I hope you have a real nice day. Everything's fine and everything's fine and it's great. Thanks. Everything's fine and everything's fine and it's great. Thanks. Everything's fine and everything's fine and it's great. Thanks. Everything's fine and everything's fine. I hope you have a real nice day.
All right. Well, on Friday morning, the John Bolton's house was raided by the feds. Now, this is John Bolton is a monster and a warmonger. So that's, I was hoping maybe one of these days these warmongers would get what was coming to them, but I don't really think that as retribution for being mean to Donald Trump is like really how any of us really wanted to see anybody get their comeuppance, I don't think. But here's the scene outside of the house. There was a reporter on scene almost immediately, as if it was leaked to someone.
And so we've got at least 3 FBI vehicles there, as well as there may be more. So among the officials,
we're using the word reporter a little bit loosely here, I suppose. A person with a cell phone was on the scene immediately.
Who have Bolton is really the only one, I think, with any significant exposure. He's got he did actually publish something after defying pre-pub review, and he did, the government has contended, whether correctly or tendentiously, that there is classified material in there. The statute of limitations is about to run. I think they have nothing, as best as I've been able to discern, on anybody else. And so you have a sudden situation where they very much want scalps. So there are at least 4 Montgomery County police vehicles, but before I started live streaming, the MoCo officers told me they were here in support of the FBI. I have seen 2 or 3 cars I assume to be FBI, and I have seen 1 car I've seen some personnel, at least 1 person wearing an FBI jacket. So this is definitely an FBI operation. I have visual confirmation of that, and I have confirmation of that from the Montgomery County Police.
So you don't always go to air with the team that you want. Sometimes you go to air with the team that you have. There was not much information there. I don't know how I would do. I probably wouldn't do that, but this is, I don't know enough about like any of this. I assume that it's just all fucking that Donald Trump doesn't like John Bolton because he said mean things about him in a book. I mean, that's kind of how the guy operates, right? It doesn't, and if this guy had done something, fucked up part here, or if there was something that you could catch this guy on, it's going to all be obfuscated by the fact that Donald Trump is probably mostly interested in retribution against the guy, right? So we got this is Pat Fallon, Republican out of Massachusetts, says that he'd be actually okay with the feds raiding his place.
potentially looking for classified documents that they believe are in his possession. The Justice Department's top brass have all been posting on X in the last 10, 15 minutes saying no one's above the law, Congressman. I do want to get your thoughts before you go.
I fully agree. I mean, I sit on the Intel Committee. I sit on the Oversight Committee. We see classified documents all the time. And you know what? They can raid my home anytime because I don't take classified documents out of the skiff. So if John Bolton or anybody else does, you're going to be, subject to your actions. There's consequences.
Wait, wait a minute.
So I'm fascinated to see what will happen.
Yeah, we're going to be following this all morning. It's
Wait a minute.
Brand new news for us as well. Congressman Pat Fallon, always great to talk to you, the great state of Texas. Great to see you, sir.
Oh, my notes said fucking Massachusetts, but it's out of the great state of Texas. Wait a minute, though. Didn't fucking Donald Trump have like a bunch of classified documents that he was like showing off to Kid Rock and shit? I don't know. Did John Bolton, was he showing them off? Was he having parties like a Lil Nas X over there or something? Was showing off the fucking documents to Lil Nas X? I don't think the dude has shit. I don't think the dude has shit. I think Homeboy does not have classified documents at his home. He's too, dude, the guy's a monster, but he's like a rule follower, right? He's like a hall monitor ass motherfucker. There's a reason he didn't give a fuck about Trump's policies, right? He just didn't like Trump because Trump wasn't interested in following the rules. John Bolton is like a warmonger and hall monitor ass motherfucker. So I don't think the guy has shit. I think I don't know why they're doing this. Who fucking knows? So here's Greg Gutfeld on the 5, because of course this is from the 5, and he's saying that if this is a payback for John Bolton saying mean things about him, that's fine actually.
Greg, are you worried about the former president of Red Eye?
Well, it's a big problem for me, and I can't really comment on it because him being the president of Red Eye and I being the host of Red Eye, I have actually been told by my lawyers that I'm not allowed to comment on anything except to say, some people say it's retribution. I say, who cares? Don't lecture me on timing of lawfare. Don't lecture me on politically motivated, investigations. You guys invented this stuff. You loved doing it to Trump because you didn't think it through. You were so confident that Trump was toast, that you could rattle off free punch after free punch after free punch without any fear of reprisal. So yeah, is it retribution?
Wait, John Bolton didn't do any of that though.
I don't know. But when you think about the constant lawfare, the gerrymandering,
wait, what? What the fuck is this guy? Why is this
expected to happen to them? They're like home invaders who didn't expect a well-armed occupant when they showed up. And Trump is well-armed. This is kind of an ongoing masterclass for the Republican Party, the new Republican Party, to quote Greasy Gav, how to fight fire with fire. The conservative movement, which I loved for the longest time, they were kind of happy to fritter away their influence and power on the notion that they were always above returning fire. I read for National Review. This is disgusting. Let's write a 4,000-word piece on judicial reform, and then they don't do anything.
What the fuck is this?
Their cigar.
Just like the payload aside, what does he do? This is embarrassing.
Beneath them to get in the ring and hit back. So it's one of the presents that Trump gave the Republicans that they desperately needed were balls the size of Jupiter.
And if you're a bully and you hit somebody and they don't hit you back, you're going to keep bullying the bejesus out of them. And
I bet he knows about this.
how many people did they get, Greg? They got Stone, they got Navarro, they got Bannon, they got all the Trump family.
Wait, but those people were all convicted. Well, not the whole Trump family, but some of those, like Steve Bannon was Steve Bannon was up in that fucking the scam about the wall. That fucking senior airman Brian Colfage piece of shit was involved in that. What is he talking about? Some of these people were convicted by a jury.
Fort Carter Page. The list is long. So
I forgot about Carter Page.
I believe this is probably going to be the first in many raids.
I didn't want him to be the first, though.
I know, me neither.
You know, he said, like, you never want Bolton to be your first.
Again, payload aside, that's just fucking embarrassing. Like what? Are these people? Gutfeld's like supposed to be funny or something? Oh, you know, if I want Bolton to be your first. Like, what the fuck is he talking about? I have no fucking idea. I think the guy in the first one was right. The statute of limitations for whatever this is supposedly running out, and they think that maybe Bolton might have something in his house, but Homeboy doesn't have shit in his house. That dude, I don't know if they do. That dude's a fucking spy. What are they talking about? That dude's house, you're probably not going to find a speck of dust in that motherfucker's house. Here's the president. He could have known about it. I don't know. Anything's possible.
They'll brief me probably today sometime.
And the foreign minister.
I don't want. I tell Pam and I tell the group. I don't want to know, but just you have to do what you have to do. I don't want to know about it. It's not necessary. I could know about it. I could be the one starting it. I'm actually the chief law enforcement officer.
No, you're not.
But I feel that it's better this way.
So the president is supposedly the commander in chief, but the top, we call him the top cop in America. It's the head of the DOJ, right? The attorney general is generally thought of as the top law enforcement official in the United States, not the president. But that's not the problem there. He totally knew about this. He fucking ordered this. There's like some stuff going on here too. Like John Bolton's hooked up with the intelligence apparatus of the country, and those aren't really good people to fuck with. Here's J.D. Vance. There's broad concern about John Bolton. I have fucking many concerns about him. He should be tried at The Hague probably for fucking war crimes. But that's not what they're doing here.
We've learned that the FBI is searching the home of former Ambassador John Bolton, his office as well.
Sure.
Can you tell me, why is the FBI raiding Ambassador Bolton's home and office? And did the White House get a heads up?
Well, so we're in the very early stages of an ongoing investigation into John Bolton. I will say we're going to let that investigation proceed. What I can tell you is that unlike the Biden DOJ and the Biden FBI, our law enforcement agencies are going to be driven by law and not by politics. And so if we think that Ambassador Bolton has committed a crime, of course, eventually prosecutions will come. But as you know, Kristen, this is all part of gathering evidence, trying to understand something that we're worried about. And of course, I'll let the FBI comment on the next.
Wait a minute. We're trying to understand. That's called a fishing expedition.
What's at the root of this? Is this about classified documents?
Well, again, I'll let the FBI speak to that. Classified documents are certainly part of it, but I think that there's a broad concern about Ambassador Bolton. They're going to look into it. And like I said, if there's no crime here, we're not going to prosecute it. If there is a crime here, of course, Ambassador Bolton will get his day in court. That's how it should be. But again, our focus here is on, did he break the law? Did he commit crimes against the American people? If so, then he deserves to be prosecuted.
As we
Again, I think he should be prosecuted for crimes against humanity for like a lot of the shit that he's had his fucking hands in. But again, they're not talking about this. So he just gave up the game right there. He's like, well, there's broad concern in this and that. The problem is that a warrant has to be specific. In some, they have to say what they're looking for, where they're looking for it. They may even have to say what part of the house they're looking for it in. And they may have to tell you, the warrant may even have to say like vaguely sort of how they know to go looking for the stuff. So when the warrant gets unsealed, it's going to be kind of interesting to take a look at. It'll just be interesting to take a look at. Here's John Bolton's neighbor talking to the press after all this went down. I like John Bolton's neighbor. I bet he's on Blue Sky. I bet he's in one of those We Resist Fascism starter packs that everybody's fucking joining and getting followed by a bunch of bots because they join on to.
And it's only going to get worse if we don't do something to make it stop. And it scares the crap out of me. It's going to get to me. I've got it.
Totally fine. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks for being here.
Yeah. And you're just a neighbor living around here in the
Well, I've known these. You're really and I shot. I'm just a street guy this morning that the FBI was raiding his house. So someone's got to support him against this stuff going on.
I do have an artistic eye.
Yeah.
Can I ask you something? I'm not a journalist, but where'd you get the T-shirt? Where'd you get the T-shirt?
I got so many T-shirts you would not believe.
Me too. All right.
I don't know where this
came from. Okay.
Sir, you say you've known the Boltons for a while?
I don't know them. I'm just a neighbor. I don't know a person.
I don't know them. I'm just the neighbor. He just went out there. He's like, I could get on TV. I like that guy. He had nothing of value to say. I like him though. I like him. I'd be that guy's neighbor. Although that looks like a kind of neighborhood I couldn't afford. What else? Wait, what else was happening on Friday? Wait a minute. There was something else that was happening on Friday. Anybody know about this? Something else going down Friday. What was that again? Something else happened Friday.
It looks political to me. I mean, it looks political. It looks like it's also an attempt to distract from the other big news of the day, which is the first production of the Epstein files that's required by subpoena from the Oversight Committee on which I sit. And they want to change the conversation repeatedly. This is going to happen every day because they don't want people talking about the Epstein files or about their mismanagement of the economy.
All right, let me follow up on that. You think you were questioning the timing of this and raising a possible connection to the turning over of some documents of Epstein files to your committee today?
Yeah, I think that, look.
I mean, that's what he just said. Is the first dumbass fucking interview. He's like, you just said a thing. Is that what you just said? I fucking hate these people sometimes.
That the DOJ has been required to comply with the subpoena. They said that they would start producing documents today. I'm concerned that they're going to slow walk that as well. But there's tremendous clamor for these documents and transparency as to these files. And as you know, both Donald Trump as well as Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, are trying to prevent that from happening, and they want to change the conversation.
And that's what you think this raid, the search at Bolton's house is about?
It could be. I think that there's going to be repeated attempts to distract from, both the economy as well as the Epstein files.
Let me talk to you.
So, not for nothing, going after your political enemies isn't really a distraction, right? Going after people because they talked shit about you, essentially, is not a distraction. People can think about more than one thing at a time, and it's rather important that they're going after like political enemies, people who are like personally critical of Donald Trump, right? This isn't, the guy didn't try to run against him. The guy didn't, as far as we know, like campaign against him in any sort of meaningful way. All he did was like pushed back on him kind of a lot during the first Trump administration, and then wrote a book and then took some interviews. It's it might be about this though. Let's see. Here's the president.
Your Justice Department is also sending some of the Epstein files over to the House Oversight Committee today. Are you in support of them releasing all of them?
Keeping it open.
If they wanted to release,
people shouldn't be hurt, but I'm in support of keeping it totally open. I couldn't care less. You got a lot of people that it could be mentioned in those files that don't deserve to be. People, because he knew everybody in Palm Beach. I don't know anything about that, but
does he think people are stupid? Like okay, so there's people that might get mentioned in there, but if it was just like, here's the people that witness B said were at the party. Okay, fine. So what? They were both at the same party. People are smart. People are smarter than this.
And everybody else, give them everything you can give them, because it's a Democrat hoax. It's just a hoax. The whole Epstein thing is
it's a Democrat hoax. All leading up to the election, him and not him so much, a lot of his surrogates were out there saying that like this needed to be released because of the fucking, we're going to take down the elites. It was like not so thinly veiled sort of QAnon stuff about like the white hats are in charge now and we're going to take down the fucking ring of elite pedophiles. And now it's a Democrat hoax.
It's a Democrat hoax. So we had the greatest 6 months, 7 months in the history of the presidency, and the Democrats don't know what to do, so they keep bringing up that stuff. But it affected them. Bill Clinton was on his plane and went to the island supposedly 28 times. I don't want to bring that up, frankly. You have Larry, whatever his name is, Summers, the head of Harvard, who was Jeffrey Epstein's best friend. Nobody ever talks about that. I mean, but I don't want to hurt Larry Summers, but he was best friends with Jeffrey Epstein. No, this is a Democrat.
Well, what if these people were involved in all this shit? I don't want to personally hurt them, but they should be held accountable. I thought that was the whole fucking point.
To try and get the significance of what we've done over the past 7 months. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. They say it's #1 in history.
Who's they? So fuck Larry Summers. Larry Summers is like a fucking like a Wall Street asshole. If Bill Clinton was there, Bill Clinton is like a notorious fucking womanizer, and if he was there, fucking, he was old. He was old by that time. I mean, he wasn't old. He's old now. But even if some of the gals were like legal, but like freshly 18 or whatever, and he was hanging out with Jeff Epstein just to get access to them, that's not good either. Go find your own 18-year-olds. Fucking don't get some fucking trafficker to hook you up. Like, I don't give a fuck. Nobody's covering up for Larry Summers except for Donald Trump. Donald Trump's covering for Larry Summers, Bill Clinton, Bill Gates, Steven Pinker. He's covering all those people's asses. Lawrence Krauss. Those people are fucking so well. Bill Clinton don't give a fuck. That dude's gonna die next week or something. He's old. And yeah, like Dub D in the chat is mentioning, Trump is in there too. Now, apparently, he didn't have anything to do with Epstein after the first conviction, and they had a falling out because, depending on whose story you believe, for some reason prior to all of the allegations or anything being made public in the courts. So I don't know what the fuck his problem is. If he's not even in the documents, or if there's nothing, maybe just passing mentions of previous relationships with Trump or whatever, but after the first conviction, if he ain't in there, the fuck does he care? It's that there's somebody in there that he's covering up for, or that maybe he wasn't. Maybe he was associated with him after that, and it was just on the sneak. Who fucking knows? Anyway, here's a pretty powerful political ad about all this.
You're coming with me.
Who are you? Get away from me.
I'm your Republican congressman. I'm protecting the president so nothing gets out from the Epstein files.
Please. I won't say anything, I promise.
I don't care. Now be a good girl. We're going back to the island.
Dude, fucking dark. Fucking, this is not going away. And those kinds of ads are good. It is definitely creepy, but those kinds of ads are good. So this is, I can't believe, you're not going to believe this. They have, of all people, Gymnasium Jordan on to talk about the transcript from Ghislaine Maxwell's interview. It's like, yo, could you just think a little bit about who you're having on to talk about what? You might as well have had him on to talk about a fucking wrestling tournament.
We'll see. What I know is they didn't release parts of the transcript. They released the whole transcript. And so you can go through the whole thing. And, of course, this confirms what we all knew. If the Democrats, if President Trump had done something wrong, you don't think the Democrats would have released that? I mean, it was their Justice Department who handled all this. You don't think the Garland Justice Department and the Chris Wray FBI would have released information? We knew President Trump didn't do anything wrong here. He said that repeatedly. This transcript is the whole transcript, and it confirms that. So I think there's nothing there. It seems based on what we got from the interview of Miss Maxwell.
Congressman, last one for you.
Didn't Homegirl get fucking? Didn't she get perjury? Wouldn't she also wasn't one? It was like one of the lesser known things. Wasn't Homegirl also? Wasn't there also a perjury charge? Isn't she haven't the courts determined that she's a fucking liar? And yo, she's in jail. She's old. She looked, some of the pictures of her older and whatever. And, she looks good. She looks good, but she's in her 60s. I think she got 20 years. She might die in jail. So what do you think she's going to do? You think she doesn't know what the fuck's going on here? She's going to tell those motherfuckers exactly what she thinks they want to hear. She's trying to get the fuck out of jail. I would too. Here, now we're going to move on to the federal cops on the street. This is Pam Bondi, who I believe was eavesdropping on people at a hipster coffee shop. It's the only way you could have ever heard anything like this from the good people.
Listen, our law enforcement officers are telling us that people are coming up to them on the street, and they said a lot of people are walking by whispering, saying, thank you, thank you, thank you. They're hearing stories every single night and day of people.
Oh, I'm sorry, she sent the cops to a hipster coffee shop.
Saying that they feel safe now to walk their own neighborhood where they live because of what our great men and women in law enforcement are doing at the directive of the president.
And going out to dinner, according to the president. And going out to dinner. Attorney General.
That's not true. Like the businesses in DC are all complaining about like drops. Some of them, and depending on the neighborhoods where there are a lot of immigrants, some fucking restaurants are saying it's been down 50, 60% since all this started. And it's only been a short time. You know how tough the restaurant business is? That is incorrect. The guy, oh, people are going out to dinner. Well, yeah, like one racist asshole going out to dinner somewhere isn't going to make up for the fact that the rest of normal people don't want to go outside in a police state. Don't worry, though. Our president, you know what he knows about? Grass. He knows about grass. I couldn't believe. Like, what are you? What is this guy talking about?
In DC, one of the things we're going to be redoing is your parks. I'm very good at grass because I have a lot of golf courses all over the place. I know more about grass than any human being, I think, anywhere in the world. And we're going to be regrassing all of your parks, all brand new sprinkler systems, the best that you can buy, just like the Augusta. No, it'll look like Augusta. It'll look like, more importantly, Trump National Golf Club. That's even better. But we're going to have all brand new, beautiful grass. You know, like everything else, grass has a life. Do you know that? Grass has a life. You know, we have a life and grass has a life. And the grass here died about 40 years ago.
It's kind of funny, but it's not, right? Because you think about it, when you think about like what strong men do, right? Strong men. We call them strong men. What they do is around where they are, they will make it beautiful. They'll make like they'll Truman show sort of the area around where they are, around the Capitol. Like they all do this. Like when the Soviet Union, when their economy was crumbling, the area around the Kremlin was gorgeous. And that's just what they do. He's doing some strongman shit where it has to look perfect around him. He doesn't want to see any blight. And so that's it. That's all he's doing. He wants to put new grass at the park. This motherfucker doesn't go to the park. I don't know. DC's probably got some pretty nice fucking parks too. All right, here's more. They're coming for Chicago next, apparently.
You said Chicago might be next. Are you making, have there been concrete steps that the administration is taking to do that? Or what are other cities as well?
I haven't spoken to the mayor. He's grossly incompetent. I haven't spoken to the mayor. No, when we're ready, we'll go in and we'll straighten out Chicago, just like we did DC. Chicago is very dangerous, great place. I built great stuff there. I have the most beautiful building in Chicago, I think. But I hate to see what's happened to Chicago. Chicago is our greatest city, actually.
Chicago's our greatest city, but it's actually a shithole. I was listening to a podcast for some guys outside of Chicago. It's called Cognitive Dissonance. Good podcast. What they were saying is like, man, they're going to go to Chicago, but they ain't sending no untrained Gestapo to the south side of Chicago. Here's one that I don't believe is true. He says they're going to send they might send people into San Francisco. Here's the reason I don't think they're going to send people into San Francisco. One of Elon's buddies, Matthew Laurie, a tech bro, sort of similar to Matt Mahan in San Jose, is the mayor of San Francisco. When Trump finds out there's a white tech bro mayor, he ain't doing shit to San Francisco.
Chicago and San Francisco, the two greatest cities in the world. Now you look at what the Democrats have done to San Francisco. They've destroyed it. I own a big chunk of the Bank of America building in San Francisco. And, you know, it's just different. We can clean that up, too. We'll clean that one up, too. No, if everything works out, and we've already had calls from other cities, quiet calls from Democrats. We'd love you to come here.
Dude, I live in Oakland. I would love you to send the fucking Gestapo to Oakland. Let's party. I will fucking die in the street. I will absolutely die in the fucking street. But so will your Gestapo. They're not going to send anybody anywhere that's actually dangerous. And there aren't even that many actually dangerous fucking places in the fucking country anymore. Here's Todd Starnes. This is a 7-second clip. I avoid 7-second clips, but this guy's like at home, like fucking crysturbating or something, thinking about Donald Trump personally attacking a poor person in a city.
Does the president have a gun? Are they going to let him tase somebody? I want to see my president tase somebody tonight. That's what I want to see.
Oh God. Yeah, he wants to see the president himself do the dirty work. Here's Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk says, whatever they're doing in D.C., they should just fucking do it everywhere, the whole country.
This is liberals in a nutshell. That explains Maggioni. That explains Mamdani. They side with criminals. They side with parasites. A large chunk of the left is really strongly driven by resentment, and this inherently makes them against solving problems. Why would the left bring down crime rates? They side with criminals all the time. They want more criminals out of jail. They want fewer criminals arrested, not because they think this will help America, but because they know it will make it worse. They are a parasitic force on the United States of America. And this DC thing is a perfect test case. I cannot tell you, this DC thing now allows us to deal in reality. Not a murder for 7 days. That is unheard of in Washington, D.C.
Except it's not. There was a 7 or 8 day period in March where there was no murder in Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. he's pretty fucking safe.
Month of killing of August. There is this nihilistic drive that is the life force of the left. Now we have a control case, and now we have a template. President Donald Trump is the
Wait a minute, this doesn't make sense. Hold on. All crime is down 8%. You have carjacking down 83%. So what is going on here? If all crime is only down 8%, fuck these numbers. These numbers don't make any sense. There must be some kind of crime that's up. Incidents of state violence maybe offsetting this?
Abstraction president. President Donald Trump did not need another think tank from some nonprofit on K Street. By the way, you drive in DC, there's all these, $100 million buildings of this institute and this foundation. And some of them are plenty nice people. President Donald Trump did not need another, sir, here's a 55-page white paper on how you might. He said, I don't know, this is a waste of time. We're rolling the tanks. We don't need a white paper. We need Marines. We need bombs in Fordo. We need B-2 bombers flying over Putin's head. We need John Deere tractors, hard business numbers,
Wait, what? We need B-2 bombers flying over Putin's head? Does he mean that they put on a little air show for fucking Putin in Alaska? Like, what the fuck?
In cages and illegals getting tackled in the streets.
Wait, why do we need them getting tackled? Why do we need them getting tackled? What?
Russell Kirk wrote about this, one of my favorite authors, no relation. He wrote about this in The Conservative Mind. Russell Kirk wrote, politics is the art of the possible, not the pursuit of utopia. Russell Kirk taught us that where the conservative movement went wrong is they spent too much time in the clouds. And boy, is that true. If you listen to the DC conservative political elite, they're constantly talking about abstractions. I can talk about abstractions all the time. I think it's fun at times to talk about the Platonic ideal. We just spent times with Dr. James Orr. And this is the problem at its core of libertarianism, is you get so consumed in the archetype and the ideal that you do not understand, hey, but you have thought one thought too many. It's a great philosopher who said that. Sometimes you could be a victim of going...
The philosophy is when you stop thinking after like 9 thoughts.
One thought too many. And then Trump's combined with action, with praxis, which is the ancient Greek word for practice. And
now this is starting to sound a little like leftist Twitter.
That is where Republicans are kind of, I don't quite understand this, because they have been raised in a tradition. They have been raised in a culture. They have been raised in a conservative movement that is so overwhelmingly committed to the abstract and the distant, while they ignore the immediate and the action-oriented. The DC machinery cares about NATO. President Donald Trump's like, I care about DC. Yeah, NATO's fine, but why don't Europe fund NATO and we fix DC? Trump is the anti-ideologue president.
Wait, what?
Trump was not a conservative philosopher. He was the first president to live like a real person, suspicious of abstractions and loyal to reality. He did not bow to these idols of the global order, expert consensus, or institutional prestige.
He did not bow to expert consensus. All right, dude.
He asked the Kirkian question, not the Charlie Kirk question, the Russell Kirkian question. Does this serve the American people, or is it just a theory? Let me repeat it. Every single time President Donald Trump makes a decision, he says, is this a theory developed by some think tank guy from Yale, or does this actually improve and better the American Republic? Russell Kirk famously said ideology is just politics gone mad. And Trump said enough with the madness. And we see it now on full display.
Didn't Charlie used to claim that his organization was like for freedom and liberty and all that?
For all the people that have had their cars jacked, for all the murders in D.C., you can now know Muriel Bowser, they were choosing to allow it to happen. If you live in a major U.S. city and it's dirty and it's crime infested, it's because your leaders are choosing for that to happen. Crime is a choice. Look at El Salvador. And now it's time for us to scale it to all of America's greatest cities. We have a control case of a week. Let's spread it out to a month. And then let's turn America's cities into the safest in the Western Hemisphere. And I don't care if the Democrats object. Alex Marlowe joins us next.
So I guess there's a way in which if you, like for me, right? Like I'm glad that, other than arson going up because of all those fires I set when I moved to Oakland, that the violent crime and property crime and stuff is going down here. But if the reason that it was going down is because there were National Guard and police, like just all kind of people all over the place, like cracking skulls and fucking violating people's civil rights and stuff, I'm like, that's not, the juice isn't worth the squeeze. The trade-off isn't worth it. And so insofar as like, that's not what he means though, right? He just means that like blackety black, black, blackety black, black, black is probably what he means actually. So yeah, it's, these ideas of the founders, right? It's like our justice system is supposedly based around this, right? We'd rather 10, the idea is that it's better that 10 guilty people walk free than we convict one innocent person. Now that's not how it plays out, but that's like, one of the ideals, I suppose, of the justice system. And this is all flipped on its head. It's better for everyone to have to go through an unnecessary fucking checkpoint on their way home from the fucking bar than it is for like one carjacking to happen. I don't think that's true. I don't think it's better. I don't think the carjacking's good, but I think I'd rather live in a place with a bit of chaos where sometimes people get their cars stolen, some people get robbed and stuff, where I don't have to walk through a fucking checkpoint on my fucking way home from dinner. Like this, I'm willing to accept that trade-off. And I feel like for the longest time, people have, without even thinking about it, accepted that trade-off. Otherwise, you live in a fucking police state. And now you have a problem with violence, but the violence is from the state and you have no recourse. Trump met with Zelensky, and here is Fox's Peter Doocy. I think he's got to be slightly smarter than Steve Doocy. I don't know if they're related, but here's like a loaded ass question he's going to ask Zelensky.
President Zelensky, are you prepared to keep sending Ukrainian troops to their deaths for another couple years, or are you going to agree to redraw the maps?
Thank you for your question. So, first of all, we live under each day attacks. That today have been a lot of attacks and a lot of wounded people, and the child was dead, small one year and a half. So we need to stop this war, to stop Russia, and we need support American and European partners, and we will do our best for this. So, and I think we show that we are strong people, and we supported the idea of the United States, personally of President Trump, to stop this war, to make a diplomatic way of finishing this war, and we are ready for trilateral, as President said. This is a good signal about trilateral. I think this is very good. Thank you. Mr. President.
Dude, this guy, man, he's got like the patience of a saint, because like at this point, if he would have just been like, you know what, fuck you, I feel like everybody would have understood, right? Everybody would have been like, all right, well, at some point you just lose your fucking nerve. But I think the fact that the guy was like a comedian, an actor or whatever, allows him to essentially like act during these particular situations, which is good for him, actually. Because otherwise, I don't know, he'd just fucking start snapping necks and shit. I don't know, man. I don't know how I'd deal with that. So Donald Trump has settled 7 wars and maybe 3 pre-wars, and he has a picture of himself and Putin.
So that was very nice that it was sent to me. Okay? Mr. President.
On that subject, have you talked to Vladimir Putin about the fact that yesterday a big U.S. factory was hit in a Russian airstrike in Ukraine? What's your reaction to that?
I told him I'm not happy about it. And I'm not happy about anything having to do with that war. I said I settled 7 wars, and actually, if you think about pre-wars, add 3 more, so it would be 10. I thought this would be in the middle of the pack in terms of difficulty. No, I'm not happy about anything about that war. Nothing. Not happy at all. We'll see what happens. I think over the next 2 weeks, we're going to find out which way it's going to go.
So he always says that everything is, we're going to figure it out in 2 weeks, 2 weeks this, 2 weeks that. And it's like, we're not going to find out which way this is going to go. Here's Lindsey Graham talking about Ukraine and Russia. And this is before the meeting with, So let's see what Lindsey Graham here has. This is before the meeting with Putin. Great websites we use for this show here.
How does this end? There's going to be compromise. Ukraine's going to have to recognize that there will be parts of Ukraine under Russian control. That doesn't mean transferring title to Russia, but East Germany and West Germany existed for a long time until reunification. There can be no end to this war without security guarantees. I've got one goal here, to make sure there's no third invasion. If America would tell the world, Russia and Ukraine, we have Europe's back if there's another fight in Ukraine, that you would be picking a fight with the United States if there was a third invasion. There will never be a third invasion. And Donald Trump has said...
The second one isn't over yet. This guy's already talking about the third invasion, because the first one would be Crimea. The second one would be the one that's currently ongoing and shows no sign of ending. And then the third one would be when?
That in motion. As to land swaps, remember China's watching. Don't do anything in Ukraine that would entice China to take Taiwan. How does this end?
So this is, I think the Taiwan and China, I think that's a fucking entirely separate issue. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but there's some ways in which China doesn't really want to go after Taiwan. A lot of Chinese manufacturing of electronics is reliant on Taiwan Silicon Manufacture, TSMC. Like there's a lot of it relies on TSMC, and like I don't think anybody really wants there to be like a hot war over there and have like the TSMC's facilities damaged. It would disrupt the global economy in a pretty significant way, and China would take a lot of that hit because they rely on chips that are made at TSMC for a lot of their stuff. So yeah, it's not the same. Here's Warren Davidson. He's a Republican from Ohio, and this is he's on CNN. He's talking about how to deal with capitulate R.E. Putin.
You don't take on a nation that is 10 times your size. Congressman, what should Ukraine have done when Russia rolled tanks over the border and invaded and was rushing toward Kyiv?
Well, once the tanks are rolling, diplomacy failed. And what they should have done is going back to 2013, 2014, is they should have been clear that they want to maintain a friendly relationship with Russia.
Hi, you just invaded our country and took some of our land and one of our major seaports. Let's be friends. What the fuck?
Posing a threat to Russia, and they would never let Europeans or Americans pose a threat to Russia. Russia feels threatened by a lot of things, and including the internal domestic affairs of Ukraine. So eastern Ukraine, the Donbass, east of the Dnieper River, heavily Russian speaking. They want to maintain Russian culture, and a friend of mine from there said, hey, it's a lot like maybe for an American, if you think of Quebec, they want to speak French. They want this French culture and heritage recognized. They're content.
Yeah, but it wasn't. Quebec wasn't ever. What the fuck? No. Wait, no. Canada didn't Canada didn't fucking blow up Quebec. Wait, what? This is nothing like Quebec. Quebec is part of like a multicultural, multilingual nation that is to our north, known as Canada. They didn't ever. I don't know. Did they ever invade? Did Canada ever be like, "Hey, guy"? Oh wait, that's an American from South Park. The fucking flip top heads start talking about how they got to invade Quebec. Ozer. No, they didn't do that. They never. What the fuck? This is not the same at all. Did Canada fucking break up and become balkanized due to like a totalitarian regime falling? And now the main part of Canada wants Quebec back? No. This is not, no, this is not, no. This is, what the fuck is this guy talking about?
To be part of Canada, but until you come in and say, well, you can't speak French anymore, and we're not going to recognize that, and we're going to purge every reference to what you view as your culture. That's the kinds of things that were going on in the internal affairs of Ukraine that Russia continued to.
No. Up until, and still, there's a ton of people in Ukraine who speak Russian. There's just a lot of Russian speakers in Ukraine, a lot of bilingual people. A lot of people there speak 3 and 4 languages because of like where they're situated and like they're and like the history of the country. What the fuck?
With Ukraine, that's not an excuse for the invasion or war, but you know there was no diplomacy that was de-escalatory. In fact, everything was escalatory. And so I think, look, if you go back to maybe some days imagine a bar, everybody might get a little loud and mouthy until like the defensive end guy stands up and he's 6'5", about 280, and clearly really fit. And every time I've seen that happen, somebody gets really diplomatic really quick. And I think that
this guy is hanging out at a bar with like football players where there's like people talking shit, and then the football player guy gets up and goes, "Stop talking shit," and then everybody's like, "All right, we're gonna stop talking shit." This doesn't happen. You go to a bar to talk shit, and hopefully like it's fun and everybody has a good time. And if you fucking rib at somebody a little bit, maybe they rib back at you, and you buy a drink. Like, come on, you don't what? Yeah, peace through strength at the local pub.
What President Trump's talking about. You didn't give enough weight to diplomacy.
Yeah, well, I mean, the other way of looking at it is sometimes you do have to stand up to bullies. And you talk about the lessons of World War I. There are a lot of people
who sure do. And if you want to play Ukraine, I think that'd be great. You can go ahead.
I'm not saying that. I'm just talking about the other side of what you're saying. And you're talking about the lessons of World War I. There are people who talk about the lessons of World War II and Munich and concessions right there. But it does sound like you're putting some responsibility on Ukraine for this conflict. Quickly, sir.
So it's not like there's zero responsibility on Ukraine for the conflict. It's just like there's not much. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's not much they could have done, I don't think. Don't worry, everybody. This was all Joe Biden's fault. This is Nancy Mace, so this is gonna be various word salady and fucking, let's just face it, contradictory reasons. She's gonna contradict herself a couple times here in a fairly short clip, under a minute.
Russia invading Ukraine and the Donbass region happened under the Biden administration, and they turned a blind eye. They turned a blind eye to it.
Well, wait a minute. Whoa, hold on. No. Was it Donbass? Or no, the Crimea was under Obama. Okay, so the invading the... Okay, so yeah, she was right here. For a minute, I thought she was like really fucking this whole thing up. But don't worry, she has plenty of time to fuck this whole thing up.
Russia invading Ukraine and the Donbass region happened under the Biden administration, and they turned a blind eye. They turned a blind eye to it. In fact, when the war first started and America gave many assets to Ukraine, there was...
Wait a minute. So the war first started, the Biden administration turned a blind eye to it. But at the very beginning, the United States gave a lot of fucking resources, military assets to... We're fucking 14 seconds in, and the homegirl is already like dramatically contradicting herself in like a very funny way.
A slow roll by Biden's State Department to provide assets and resources to Ukraine when the war first broke out. So we have true leadership in Donald Trump, and I thank him every day for his leadership oath on...
By slow rolling, does she mean went through Congress? and dealt with Congress as one is supposed to do for these kinds of things.
The Ukraine conflict and his dealings with Russia, but Iran and Israel and peace in the Middle East potentially. I mean, he's just shown great leadership that when we are strong, when our country is strong, there is peace, can be peace everywhere.
Thank you so much, Congresswoman Nancy Mace. It's great to see you again. Now, listen to this.
It is never great to see Nancy Mace. It is absolutely never great to see Nancy Mace. That is incorrect. So she's like, oh, at the beginning, they slow rolled it and gave out all these things. And I think she literally just means that it took a little bit for the aid packages to get through Congress, where Donald Trump just fucking does things. And the last president, sort of to the extent that any president in modern times has tried to respect the separation of powers, even under the time of what we call the unitary executive. I guess that's slow rolling it, but also, I don't know. I bet we could find tweets of her saying she supports Russia. So this is fun. This one's real fun. This next one is, of course, cosplay Christy Nome. She got caught using the Coast Guard Commandant's office as like basically a free residence. And she had to do it, I think, because people were saying mean things about her, and so she had to she's not even in the Coast Guard,
but had to leave there because the media put my address, my apartment, the logistics, where the windows were, and details out to the public. And
where the windows were. Okay, so finding out a public figure's address is fucking trivial.
Were so much that temporarily I had to stay somewhere else. So the Washington Post just this week did it again. And that's really the carelessness and the thoughtlessness and the heartlessness that the media operates in right now. So
they know where I've been here since December. It would be a little harder you can find out where I live pretty easy, I think, if you were to go about it. Probably just have to look on my social media when I was apartment hunting. You'd probably figure it out. Here's this is the Agriculture Secretary of the United States of America. We got 2 clips from the Agriculture Secretary. She's on the Kudlow show. Larry Kudlow has been making more and more appearances on our docket lately because it's Fox Business where they're supposed to be doing business analysis, but really Larry Kudlow, I don't think he really talks that much about business.
Remember as a kid, we spent our summers in Minnesota on our row crop farm up there, and we would fly into St. Paul, drive an hour north through the most beautiful country you've ever seen in the whole America. And back then it was cornfield after cornfield after et cetera, soy. Now you drive that same drive and it's all solar panels. What has happened, especially under the Biden administration and the Green New Deal, is they're using taxpayers.
Okay, the Green New Deal didn't pass. Did you say Wisconsin? I don't think you can grow big fields of corn in Wisconsin. I think it gets pretty fucking cold there.
Dollars to basically incentivize farmers to take farmland out of production. And there's a lot of reasons that they're choosing to do that, but we can't do that anymore. We should not be taking beautiful farmland out of production and putting solar panels, which we know is not the answer to our energy needs. So yes,
so sometimes farmers are paid to not grow crops. Some of the farm subsidies are paid. Maybe the climate's bad this year. Maybe they're paid not to grow the crops by the government because there's a surplus and because we love the free market so much, we don't want to drive the prices down on the crop because then they lose money on the crop. And since there's a surplus, there's plenty of whatever they're growing. But you don't. Did she say Minnesota? I forget. You don't just. There's not just rows and rows of fucking solar panels in Minnesota. What is she talking about? She's drove somewhere and saw some solar panels somewhere. Also, I'm sure there's agriculture there, but it's that shit freezes. Anyway, here's another clip of her with Larry Kudlow.
So, Brooke, welcome back. As always, you're getting rid of solar farms. I want you to get rid of windmills too. Don't forget.
Yeah, fuck the windmills.
Windmills. I know it's not exact. Here's Trump. Stupid and ugly windmills are killing New Jersey. Energy prices up 28% this year, and not enough electricity to take care of the state. Stop the windmills. So we got we got solar farms, wind farms, and windmills. And by the way, I want you to get rid of the Chinese communists who are buying our farmland. I'm just throwing this all into one pot.
Just a small couple things to do, Larry. So great to be with you. Listen, I remember as a kid, we spent our summers in Minnesota on our row crop farm up there, and we would fly into St. Paul, driving.
Oh, it's the same clip. It's just more of the same clip. We fly into St. Paul, and there's fucking. It was like the breadbasket of the country when it wasn't fucking permafrost. I don't know what they're talking about, dude. So where we live, right, there's a hill. It's not a mountain. It's a hill. It's the Altamont Pass. It goes from like Livermore to Tracy. When you get to the top of the hill on the right-hand side, mostly some on the left, but the right-hand side, you see all these windmills. And it is the coolest fucking thing in the world. It looks so cool. Adding windmills doesn't raise energy prices. Here's how you vote. I don't know if anybody's aware of this. It's a little complicated, a little tough if you don't have a car, actually. Here's how Donald Trump votes.
We're going to stop mail-in ballots because it's corrupt. You know, when you go to a voting booth and you do it the right way, and you go to a state that runs it properly, you go in. They even ask me. They asked me for my license plate, for identity. I said, I don't know if I have it. They said, sir, you have to have it. I was very impressed, actually. But it's very hard to cheat.
You gotta park your car. You got to remove the license plate, just the front one, I guess, because if you remove the back one, that's where your registration is. You might get a ticket. You got to bring your license plate in. Also, I think he voted in New York City a lot. I think he was down in Florida for a while too, but I think he voted in New York City a lot. Homeboy votes by mail. Again, this is also like not unimportant here. This dude is voted by mail like every fucking time. Like before COVID, motherfucker was voting by mail. He can't get rid of vote by mail anyway. I mean, he can try, but he can't get rid of vote by mail because the elections are run by the states, and he can't just overturn that. This is all just smoke and mirrors. So if they lose in the midterms, assuming there are as midterms, they can claim that they won and possibly refuse to seat people from states that had mail-in ballots. And we're talking states like California. New York's going to continue to do mail-in ballots. Nevada is certainly going to do mail-in ballots. Though Nevada is like a purple state. Illinois, all these places that have mail-in ballots, they're going to try to like say that these people did not win because it was illegitimate because of mail-in ballots, and we're going to have some real fucking problems. It's not going to be great. So here's Jeff Van Drew. He is a Republican representative from the great state of New Jersey, and he has some information about dead people voting, and it's as dumb as you think it might be.
Apartment buildings, there were multiple mail-in ballots sent to the same person. Sometimes people would have multiple ballots sent to different addresses. Other times people who were passed away. These are real people. I spoke to large numbers of them, and it's indicative of what happened around the country. Florida may...
Oh, sometimes it was dead people. I know because I talked to them. All right, dude. Cool. Fucking amazing. So here's Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro on Donald Trump's basically invalid executive order about the election and mail-in voting. Josh Shapiro seems okay. You know, I'm probably to his left politically a little bit, but he seems okay, and he's like seems unafraid of the president.
Donald Trump can sign whatever the hell executive orders he wants to sign and make a show out of whatever he wants, but he can't change the Constitution with an executive order. And the Constitution gives the authority to set our election rules to the states. Let me remind you that it was just about 5 years ago that a bipartisan majority in the House and in the Senate passed mail-in voting. And during that time, millions of people have voted by mail. And we have had free and fair, safe and secure elections. Donald Trump has won some of those elections. He has lost some of those elections. Democrats have won some. Republicans have won some. For him to
that's his problem, is that he didn't win every time, that everybody he wanted to win didn't win every time.
Try and put more misinformation out there, to stoke more division and fear amongst people who want to exercise their constitutional right to pick the leaders in their communities and in their Commonwealth. That is just cynical and wrong. And Donald Trump can sign whatever executive order he wants. It will have absolutely no bearing on our elections here in Pennsylvania. And we will once again have free and fair, safe and secure elections led by Republican and Democratic clerks of elections in each of our 67 counties. People will be able to vote by mail, or people will be able to vote in person.
Yeah, I mean, that's just how it's gonna go down here in California. Although we've been studying Shasta, and what they're going to do with that Joanne Fabrics is some amazing shit. Don't forget to tune in. That would be tomorrow morning for Soups with the Media Wench. Although if you're listening on the podcast, that would technically probably be yesterday morning, but you can catch the VOD. So here, I don't know if you were aware of this, but the federal judges have a list of responsibilities. And according to Alina Habba, one of the most important one actually is to respect the authority of the president of the United States. Because that's what it says when you're sworn in as a federal judge, right? It's that you are swearing allegiance to the president, not to Constitution or the people of the United States.
Number one, I was the nominee to become the U.S. Attorney, and Cory Booker and Andy Kim, who I have never to this day spoken to in my life, despite my attempts to meet them, have truly, truly done us a disservice. And frankly, same with Senator Grassley, by holding up a traditional blue slip, not a law, and not allowing a lot of the president's picks to go through and be voted on by Senate. I didn't even get to that point. Then
Dude, they did that shit to Obama the whole time. Cry me a fucking river, lady.
Forward. It goes to the judges. 17 federal judges in the state of New Jersey, 15 of which are Obama and Biden appointed, that just like, frankly, we saw with Tish James, tried to use their seat for political motivation. I am the pick of the president. I am the pick of Pam Bondi, our attorney general, and I will serve this country like I have for the last several years in any capacity. You might try and change my title. You might try and fight me. But just like today with New York, we will win. We always do. It just takes time. But it's disturbing what we're seeing. It's not surprising, but it's disturbing. They think they have a voice for 5 minutes. They try and be activists. And Pam Bondi called it like it is. The Attorney General said it today. We will not fall to rogue judges. We will not fall to people trying to be political when they should just be doing their job, respecting the president. And you can't get rid of the president. Almost 100 million people voted for him, and he is still and will be forever the 45th and 47th president of the United States.
Almost 100 people voted for his opponent too. It wasn't even that high. Wasn't it low turnout? Anyway, whatever. The judge's job is actually not to respect the president. It is no one's responsibility. You do not have to respect the president, be you a judge, a person on a jury, a defense attorney, a prosecutor. None of that. You don't. Your job as a federal judge is to oversee court proceedings, and to the extent that it is within your purview, to attempt to protect the Constitution of the United States. Now, we have a palate cleanser thanks to Ali Drew. Ali Drew always sends us cute videos. It's right around maybe a little past the halfway point. Maybe. Anyway, I'm a cyclist myself, but I might be rooting for the bird. I don't know, take the bike. Steal the bike. That bird would have stolen the bike? No, they didn't. Here's Marjorie the Gathering talking about how Jasmine Crockett does not understand the black struggle, the struggle of black people in the United States. This is on the Megyn Kelly show.
I'm dying to ask you about Jasmine Crockett. Oh boy, she seems like a nightmare. She's delightful.
What's that like to work against her?
So she serves on oversight committee with me, and she's on my Doge subcommittee.
Great.
Yeah. I'll tell you, one of the funny things was we were having a committee hearing on oversight, and it was really late at night. And I was really irritated because I'm always like, why can't we work normal work hours like regular people, 8 to 5? I don't know what's wrong with Congress that we're always doing crazy.
Oh, shut the fuck up. You're on vacation for like a fucking third of the year. Maybe more than a third. Shut the fuck up.
Things at 9, 10, 11, 2 a.m. under Nancy Pelosi. So we're on the oversight committee, and she
laughs in used to work customer service, right?
She is running off her mouth, and I shot at her about her massively huge fake eyelashes.
Yeah, this made news.
Yeah, and I was like, well, I said something along the lines of like, well, you can't read it because of your fake eyelashes, because she had all the information in front of her, and she's like, we don't even know what's going on, and da da da. And oh my gosh, total explosion. But she
insulted you too. She said something about a butch body.
Yeah.
She's nasty too.
Nasty.
Yeah, that's why I love her. She nasty, the good kind of nasty. Yeah, she made fun of that homegirl's Fred Flintstone feet and everything. Hell yeah.
Which I thought was absolutely hilarious. I mean, I'm like over 50. I work out. I'm like,
I thought it was below the belt. I think you can say eyelashes and you're still, yes, it's a personal comment, but it's not as low as what she said.
Right.
And she loves to go low.
Yeah. And somehow Democrats, they're supposed to love all women and
right.
No. No.
Body shame and stuff.
How do you even there's no reaching across the aisle to that.
No, not at all. Well, she's not a real person. So some interesting things.
Oh, well, that's fucking, she's not a real person. You don't say. Let's hear more about this.
I've always observed about her is how she treats her staff. She treats her staff like they are just beneath her.
I read that in the New York Post. Can you confirm?
Yes.
Wow.
So she always has, one of her young male staffers has to carry her big, heavy handbag for her. Right. She just hands it off. It's like, who does that?
Right. Who are you, Beyonce?
Right. And then I remember one time on oversight.
Why has she got to be Beyonce?
She called one of her staff over and she whispered something in their ear and they ran off. And then they came back with this big white fluffy pillow that they put behind her back. And I'm going.
And some bonbons?
Yeah. Like, what is this?
As they fed her grapes and fanned her?
Yeah. So she claims to be, from her people. She puts on this image.
Oh, that's right. From her people. Black folks never get uncomfortable in a chair and put a pillow behind them, because black folks, they can't afford a pillow. And bonbons, get the fuck out of here.
That she understands the Black American struggle. But let's face it, the girl went to private school. She went on to, I don't know what college and law school. She went to, it's like, she's a complete fake.
Yeah.
She's as fake as her eyelashes. She's as fake as her hair. She's as fake as her fingernails.
Wait, what? Do you think that's per real? Oh, no. Oh, dude, the history of the way that white women have spoken about black women's hair is long and gross. If those are extensions, whatever. If that's her natural hair, that's fine. She probably, if it's straight like that, she probably got to brush it out and shit. It's like not comfortable. Come on, dude.
And she is such a massive fraud.
All right. Well, all right then. All right. Well, here we go. We got more Nancy Mace. Remember when they were trying to do that infrastructure bill? And they got something passed, but ended up being watered down because a lot of people in, I don't know, fucking somewhere or another, some red state, they were like, I can't bring this back to my constituents because we're giving money to fucking Massachusetts or what. That's all this weird shit. But they passed something. Nancy Mace voted against it, but here she is taking credit for it anyway.
And in my time in Congress, I actually helped secure the largest infrastructure grant in state history, in South Carolina history. So I've worked very hard on the policies that matter to voters here, and I'm a conservative. I like Donald Trump. I believe in common sense. I'm a prolific drafter of legislation, and as governor, I'm going to bring that same energy.
I'm a prolific drafter of legislation. That's all right. Any of it make it out of committee?
those same policies, that same work ethic. I mean, President Trump is a man who doesn't sleep.
Yeah.
And I bring that same energy to Congress, and I want to bring that to the governor's seat in South Carolina.
And you also...
when somebody doesn't sleep, we have a word for that. It's called tweaker. Right? If I tell you, I'm like, man, that person's been awake for a few days, I'm usually not like, boy, are they a hard worker and a go-getter. That's a tweaker. They're a tweaker. Did you know that there have been Donald Trump made all these trade deals? Apparently, and you can't see them. You don't get to see them. Sorry.
You mentioned you're working on the documents. When do you think the market can get its hands on written documentation on the deals with Japan, UK, Vietnam, Korea? Is that how long ago? How far away is that?
Well, these are kind of weeks away for the Japan and Korea model, but the other models are set. I mean, you already have Vietnam has agreed to open its market. These countries have agreed to open their market. They bring down their tariffs. It's not that you're not going to find a big, long, 250-page trading agreement. It's very simple. Bring down your tariffs to zero, open the market to American exporters so that we can finally sell our agriculture overseas, finally sell our seafood overseas, finally sell our beef overseas. I mean, our producers have Stockholm Syndrome.
So a lot of places didn't want American beef in particular because of the safety standards, not because they didn't like us, but because the fucking mad cow thing, like other countries went to great lengths when mad cow disease was rampant. And the United States did not. The regulation was not there. And so a lot of other countries were like, well, we're just not going to import beef from you. Now, that's food safety has a lot to do with this. Especially in countries like the Asian countries, they take fucking food safety on seafood pretty seriously, because seafood's a much bigger part of their diet than it is here in the United States. And so, yeah, their standards are going to be pretty fucking high. Good ass seafood in those other countries. Here's the president. Here's a minute 50 of the president. He's just all fucking over the place here. Check this out.
So Jackson Hole, Jay Powell today said he suggested that they might cut interest rates, but they haven't proceeded.
Well, we call him too late for a reason. He should have cut him a year ago. He's too late. We have a stock market that's up 1,000 points today. I better be careful because I'll go out there and I'll see it's down 1,000, right? But it's up 1,000 points when I came in here. We have a country that the market's the hottest it's ever been. The country's better than it's ever been. We have a military that I rebuilt largely in my first term. We had a great, successful first term, but this is going to be...
So those aren't reasons to lower the interest rates, right? If the economy's hot, then you don't lower interest rates.
But we rebuilt...
This is all Keynesian shit that I don't necessarily agree with or understand completely, but the theory here is that if the economy's doing good, why lower the interest rates?
We gave a lot of it away to Afghanistan, but relatively small compared to the overall. But I think it was the most embarrassing day and period in the history of our country that they allowed those 13 wonderful people, but it's really hundreds of people were killed. And they don't talk about the 48 that was so severely wounded with no legs, no arms, nobody ever mentions them except me. But that was the worst.
Except, homeboy, that was your plan. That was your administration's plan to get out of Afghanistan.
It just showed how incompetent. Frankly, if that didn't happen, I really believe that you might not have had the problem with Russia. I think Putin was sitting there watching these stupid people running our country and said, this is a time to invade. This is a time. And then Biden made the statement, well, he can do a small incursion. When he said that, it was off to the races, right? When he said he can do a small incursion, remember that? I was surprised he knew the word incursion. And then,
did Joe Biden say that you could have a small incursion as a tree? That sounds like something no one would say.
I think he had that good of a vocabulary. I want to thank everybody. It's very important to me and to everybody up here, the World Cup. And Johnny has been so incredible. I mean, he's really a great leader. I mean, to think, I said, Johnny, do it by phone. You don't have to come. No, he said, I'll come. And he flew all night long to be here and listen to this about how great we're doing in D.C. But...
So the World Cup guy, if you could imagine this, is a monster, a giant piece of shit. Like, no place that the World Cup ever goes or the citizens ever glad the World Cup fucking went there. So this next story, and I don't want to get too much into this because first of all, it's not like our beat or whatever. Somehow, some way, the U.S. government now owns 10% of Intel. And this happened because Donald Trump was all but saying that the new CEO of Intel should fucking be deported or some shit because he, like, I don't know, does business with China like you would as a chip manufacturer. And that's one of the reasons Intel hired him, probably, is because he has some relationship with China. But here we go. Here's him talking about how maybe the U.S. government should just have 10% of Intel, which I do believe the U.S. government technically has now, which sounds crazy.
President in Israel. Two questions. One is that Intel. There have been reports that you're considering taking a stake in Intel. Can you tell
About the 10%?
About the 10%.
Yeah, I met a man. He was a very nice man, and I called for his removal because I saw something by a man named Tom Cotton, a senator from Arkansas. He's a great guy, friend of mine, supporter of mine, big supporter. I'm a supporter of his too. And he wrote a pretty nasty story about the head of Intel. And I said, well, if that's right, he should resign. And he came in, he saw me, we talked for a while. I liked him a lot. I thought he was very good. I thought he was somewhat a victim, but, you know, nobody's a total victim, I guess. And I said, you know what? I think the United States should be given 10% of Intel. And he said, I would consider that. I said, well, I'd like you to do that because Intel has been left behind, as you know, compared to Jensen and some of our friends, NVIDIA, some of the people and the people in...
Jensen? Oh, he means Jensen, the head of... Oh, dude. Intel got left behind because they insisted on using their own fabs, and TSMC just fucking is running circles around them. Like at the bleeding edge. Intel's fabs are still fine for things that aren't down at like the fucking... like sub 7 nanometer level or whatever.
Intel should have never been. Intel was the biggest, most powerful chip company in the world.
I mean, in some ways they still are. They still have over 50% of the data center market. Big data center buys are still going with the Intel Xeon processors, but they're getting hammered. They're getting fucking hammered in the consumer market, not just by AMD. And in fact, it's not primarily by AMD, right? It's ARM-based processors. Intel's getting hammered because it can't compete with that stuff. Now, mind you, I mean, for like the streaming computer I have here, my laptop has like a regular processor, but I was looking at laptops. I need to buy a new one to DJ on, and I want another one to carry around. And I was looking at this one with a Qualcomm chip, and it looked kind of great just for reading my email and stuff. The battery goes forever, runs the shit out of Linux. It should be fine. And Intel's getting their lunch ate because they can't compete in that space. And the U.S. government owning part of it is only going to make that worse, I think, because now like they're at the fucking whim of the president. The president doesn't know fucking shit about this. So we saw him mentioning the Fed and interest rates a little bit ago. I'm pretty sure that they might black bag this guy that's head of the Fed here pretty soon. I don't know. He's not really. He doesn't seem too terribly interested in what the fuck Donald Trump wants. And it doesn't seem like they're going to be able to remove him as far as I understand. I don't know. They might fucking black bag this guy.
While the labor market appears to be in balance, it is a curious kind of balance that results from a marked slowing in both the supply of and demand for workers. This unusual situation suggests that downside risks to employment are rising. And if those risks materialize, they can do so quickly in the form of sharply higher layoffs and rising unemployment. At the same time, GDP growth has slowed notably in the first half of this year to a pace of 1.2%, roughly half the 2.5% pace in 2024. The decline in growth has largely reflected a slowdown in consumer spending. As with the labor market, some of the slowing in GDP likely reflects slower growth of supply or potential output. Turning to inflation, higher tariffs have begun to push up prices in some categories of goods. Estimates based on the latest available data indicate that total PCE prices rose 2.6% over the 12 months ending in July. Excluding the volatile food and energy categories, core PCE prices rose 2.9%, above their level of a year ago.
Wait, excluding food and energy prices, those are big expenses.
Within core, prices of goods increased 1.1% over the past 12 months, a notable shift from the modest decline seen over the course of 2024. In contrast, housing services inflation remains on a downward trend, and non-housing services inflation is still running at a level a bit above what has been historically consistent with a 2% inflation. The effects of tariffs on consumer prices are now clearly visible. We expect those effects to accumulate over coming months with high uncertainty about both timing and amounts. The question that matters for monetary policy is whether these price increases are likely to materially raise the risk of an ongoing inflation problem. A reasonable base case is that the effects will be relatively short-lived, a one-time shift in the price level. Of course, one time does not mean all at once. It will continue to take time for tariff increases to work their way through supply chains and distribution networks. Moreover, tariff rates continue to evolve, potentially prolonging the adjustment process.
Yeah, they're going to black bag this dude because he's like totally calm, not taking any shots at people and just kind of telling you like it is. Like, because they're like, oh, people are arguing. They're like, oh, you're not seeing all these price hikes on everything and all that. It's like, well, it takes a while. Like, you know, like, for example, if you go to like, even like Amazon, right? Like if you want to buy a TV, most of that stuff's made in China, but most of the stock is here in the United States. And it's like a brand new fucking model that you really want or whatever. Most people don't do that. They just buy what looks good and is on sale. The stock of that stuff will last 3 to 6 months probably. And then you're going to start to see the prices of the stuff go up. Where people are seeing the prices go up is actually, strangely enough, Trump would hate to hear this, American manufacturers, because they don't hang on to the pieces of their assembly line, for a lack of a better term, for that long. You know, this just-in-time shipping, right? So you don't have to have a big fucking warehouse, so that you can basically everything arrives as you need it, more or less. And that means it's coming from overseas. A lot of the like electronic components are coming from overseas, other components too. And so that stuff, the places where things are being assembled in America, they're starting to see the hit already. And so when you see things that are assembled in the US, strangely enough, you're going to see the effects of the tariffs there first, which it's counterintuitive, but if you just understand this kind of just-in-time shipping or just-in-time supply chain, it makes a lot of sense. And so that's not great at all. I got this one. Look at this tacky office.
Your project to make it, it'll be great. It'll be fantastic. You see the way this is looking? Look, nice. I can't tell you how much that gold costs. A lot of money. There's nothing like gold, and there's nothing like solid gold. But this beautiful office needed it. It had to be representative. When we took it over, it was dirty, not clean. I immediately changed the chair and had this beautiful desk renovated, brought out by the White House. People that do this, they did a great job to send it out. We have a craftsman who's great. But this was not appropriate for the Oval Office, what I took over. And now you look at all those paintings you're allowed to turn back. All of these are great presidents, and they were all in the vaults.
Man, whoever's the next president needs to melt down all the fucking gold this guy put in the fucking Oval Office, dude. That shit is so tacky. He's like, I came in here and it was dirty like a Motel 6 or something. Shut the fuck up. Like the best cleaning staff in the world probably works at the White House. What a tacky fucking motherfucker. Everything's covered in gold. It's so tacky. Gold is like, for jewelry, it's nice, but otherwise it's just fucking tacky. It's ugly. I've seen these fucking podcasters who have these fucking microphones that are like fake gold, and I'm immediately like, you tacky motherfucker. Like, get out of here. That shit should be made of aluminum and plastic, like a normal microphone. So here we're going to move on a little bit to our ICE Goons part of the show here. This is law enforcement, various law enforcement, including ICE, fucking with an NPR, looks like a video journalist. Somebody here just filming something that's going on here. And this isn't great.
You need to back up or you're interfering with this operation and I will put you in custody.
I'm backing up.
Back up.
Don't touch me.
I did not touch you.
You did.
You need to back up.
You did touch me.
Back up.
I am backing up. No, you are covering me.
You don't have any role in this operation.
I do.
So, no, you don't.
You guys are out? Sir, do you need to go that way or this way? I'm parked this way. We're going to go back. I'm going to walk around. We're going to go this way. I'm going to this way. Is that his property? You're not covering me, sir. Hold on. Yeah, just a second. We'll stop traffic for you.
Need to back up, ma'am?
I don't. I'm at a
You need to back up. You are not at a safe distance while we're walking away. You need to back up or you're interfering with this operation and I will put you in custody.
I'm backing up.
Back up.
Don't touch me.
I did not touch you.
You did.
You need to back up.
You did touch me.
Back up.
I am backing up.
Damn, dude, she was just filming. Yo, she wasn't. The other thing, like, and it's just your responsibility handling a camera. But when you're looking in the camera, you're not exactly 100% aware of exactly what's around you at all times. They like kept moving. The guy kept moving towards her and was like, he was like, basically, don't stand so close to me. As he's fucking moved towards her. She was fucking what, 10, 15 feet away from the trucks. I don't know where everybody was when she started, but like, they just didn't want her there. They didn't want, I don't know what was going on there. Maybe they were worried she was live streaming and people in the community knew exactly where this was. Who fucking knows? But they were just like harassing fucking people that are just there filming. Now she's with NPR, and not for nothing, NPR and public broadcasting has been like a target of the administration. Now I don't think that maybe they didn't know where she was from, although she may have told them. Anyway, here's another one. Here's the federal goons trying to break into a fucking barber shop in Linwood, California. Shout out to Homegirl fucking holding the line there. Or is that a dude? I can't tell. Shout out to fucking whoever's holding the line at that door.
You gonna hurt? Y'all gonna hurt him like that? Open the door. 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 Yeah, that's you. You guys see him? That's him. I'm gonna go back to your dad. I'm gonna go back to your dad.
No le hagas caso. No le hagas caso.
I'm gonna get your mom and your dad.
Whoa! They're just like, well, we're just gonna go find your mom and your dad. You hear that?
You guys y'all can't tell him that though. Yeah, we can. Oh, yeah, you can take it. Go get his mom. Yeah. Man, identify yourself. I need your guys' back. Get back up. We don't have to show you nothing. Get back. Get back. Get back. I don't have to show you anything. You guys don't have any bags or anything. What does that say? What does that say? That's identified. We got a warrant? We got a warrant.
You don't have his number.
Who are you? Can you guys hear me? Who are you?
It's public property.
It's public. I'm trying to go on private property. All right, it's good. It's good. I'm gonna go back and get your dad and your mom.
No le hagas caso.
Why tell him
No
that?
le hagas caso.
Just because you can't get him, why tell him to go get his mom and dad, bro? That's overflow. That's overdoing it.
Soy Merari. No le hagas caso.
So yeah, that's about it. Tell him we got you. So they tell him to get his mom and dad. That's too much. That's how we do.
Porque ahorita la amiga llegó aquí en el gimnasio y hicieron algo.
Yeah, hey, just try to get one up there. Yeah, that's all. That's what you can do.
No le hagas caso. Y cojo y dígale cojo para que venga. No le hagas caso.
I'm interested to see how that ended. Good job to the people in the community, especially the person. There's always someone there, like in Spanish, essentially saying, you don't have to do this. Don't do this. Don't do that. You know, don't listen to these people, essentially. And that's really good. Here's Laura Loomer, who usually only exists in Red Light, but she's in the regular podcast part of the show. And she actually wants like a live stream from the Goons as all these things happen.
So, I don't know, maybe we have the Ice Ice Baby song, right? We could have an ice show, live ice, right? Melting ice. Who knows? We get creative with the names, but I just think it'd be a really great way to entertain the American people, promote law and order, and also increase a sense of nationalism, right? We need to promote nationalism in our country and restore love for country. And what better way to do that than to have some kind of programming, right? You could make it a product of Voice of America if they haven't already shut down Voice of America. I mean, if you're going to have taxpayer-funded propaganda, you might as well do it right. If we're going to have something like a Voice for America department or paid-for programming where you have to see Kirsty Noem's face on television every 5 seconds when you're at the airport, why don't they actually make it exciting and show ICE agents tackling Juan and Jesus? I mean, just the other day they said an illegal alien ran into traffic.
You want to tackle Jesus?
I don't know about you, but I want to watch that on video. I want to have a live stream of that. I don't want to just read about it in the news. Illegal alien darts into traffic and gets hit by a car running away from ICE officers. Like, wouldn't it be a lot more exciting if we could actually live stream this content?
Whoa. She's like, some poor person is running away from federal officers and they get hit by a car. I'd like to see that happen live. Thank you very much. Fucking ghoul shit here. This is fucking ghoul shit.
Not to sound gruesome or anything, but I think that more Americans would understand the threat of illegal immigration if we were to start live streaming this stuff. I mean, just look at that horrific truck. What do they call it? A truck crash. No, it wasn't a truck crash. It was an act of homicide by an illegal alien. I believe from India. We'll get this pulled up too.
Car accidents now are attempted homicide. So we got two more here. I got a good one. This is Illinois Governor Pritzker. Unlike a lot of other governors and Democratic representatives who, because they thought it was politically expedient to throw queer people under the bus, Governor Pritzker has gone the other way on this. And it's pretty, all things considered, when you think about the way that Governor Newsom has been on trans issues and how he kind of glad-handed with Charlie Kirk and Steve Bannon over trans issues and his, I wouldn't say necessarily enthusiastic agreement with them, but let's say tacit approval of their positions on it. This guy's a bit of a breath of fresh air on this issue.
I said backstage to somebody, with all the things that are coming at all of us, for us to be able to go on offense and not be on defense is what I love about this state and all of you in this room. And the state of Illinois today, I am announcing, is launching a first of its kind legal hotline for LGBTQ individuals across the state. Building upon the state's transgender and gender diverse wellness and equity project that we launched at the beginning of 2024, we will be the only state in the entire United States that provides free legal advice to protect the LGBTQ community. Illinois Pride Connect will provide resources on healthcare and education, on immigration, social services, family protections, and beyond. It will answer frequently asked questions. It will inform individuals of their rights and provide advocacy tools. Together, we are fighting ignorance with information. We're fighting cruelty with compassion.
Hell fucking yeah. I'm sure this guy, like any other fucking Democratic politician, has his problems. But he's going the other way on this shit. Like, nobody else with any position of power in the Democratic Party is doing anything even close to this. In fact, they're all fucking bending the knee to the bigots on this stuff. Gavin Newsom included, which is crazy because Gavin Newsom, what really launched his political career was when he violated the federal law and was marrying gay people on the steps of City Hall in San Francisco. That's where his political career launched. That's what he did to make himself like a household name in the state of California. and especially in the city of San Francisco. And he's gone the other way on this. And this Pritzker guy who, you know, if you were to judge a book by its cover, you'd be like, this is some business asshole who doesn't give a fuck about you. And maybe he doesn't care about you as an individual or whatever, but he thinks that this is good policy and he thinks it's going to help the people that he represents. And so, you know, that's good. And it's looking like he's probably running for president, which is pretty good. I think he could probably win. It's going to be a shame, I guess, for the people of Illinois because they'll have to find somebody else. And he's been like a fierce advocate for not just LGBTQ people, but he's been standing up for the city of Chicago lately. Like, just being like, this is our city. He was been saying that he loves Chicago and that Chicago is one of the greatest cities in the world and shit. And that if fucking Trump sends, the Goons squad to Chicago the way he does to DC, that the fucking state of Illinois will stand up to them and that kind of stuff. So this guy would be a loss for the state of Illinois, but I think he could win if there's an election in 2028. Now, our last clip, I almost put this in red light, but I was like, well, I don't want the show to be even anywhere near close to the hour that it's supposed to be. So this is on MSNBC, and this is Emma Vigeland, and this is of Majority Report fame, and she's on there asking these people, wait a minute, what happened to vote blue no matter who? And they're talking about Zoran.
What is the issue then with Mamdani that you think breaks through that people like Hakeem Jeffries and the hosts of CNBC and the Bill Ackmans of this world don't get? I know the short answer is the capitalism part of it, but what is it about the mobilization of these people that they want and say that they would like and they say they need in order to win in 2026 and 2028, and yet somehow they're clueless to the fact that he has managed to do it?
I mean, what happened to vote blue no matter who?
Right.
I mean, what happened? I was told that. And then as somebody who is a registered Democrat but was supportive of Bernie Sanders both times he ran, I can't tell you the amount of times that was shouted at us. And many of us did. Overwhelming majority of Bernie supporters did end up supporting the nominee. So this is a very unfortunate thing that Hakeem Jeffries is doing for his own political career, frankly, because in that primary, which was the largest turnout in the history of New York City mayoral primaries, Zoran Mamdani won in Hakeem Jeffries' own district by double digits, by around 12 points. So this is just basically a siren call for anybody in DSA or anybody who is closely associated with Zoran Mamdani to primary Hakeem Jeffries in his own district. I think that's going to be happening also in Dan Goldman's district, et cetera. What people don't understand, I think, about the pro-Palestine issue is that it's a litmus test for folks. If you can be brave and stand up against this genocide, then we can trust you on a variety of different issues. And Zoran didn't win in spite of his pro-Palestine position. He won a majority of Jewish voters because of it. Yeah. And that is what Jeffries is incapable of responding to as somebody who takes money from AIPAC. And it's why Democratic leadership is bogging down this party right now. We need a change in leadership, because if you can't harness this energy right now, you are basically saying we don't care if Donald Trump wins over and over again and this authoritarian takeover continues, because they're rejecting grassroots energy in favor of donors. And that's the core of the problem right now. We were talking about Gavin Newsom earlier. Part of what was so frustrating about his reaction to Trump's win was he was bringing on Steve Bannon and he was bringing on, I forget, whatever, Charlie Kirk, these right-wing figures, and throwing trans kids under the bus repeatedly and seating the issue on a...
Yep, see, that's what I just said a minute ago. I don't even watch Majority Report anymore, not because I don't have a problem with it. I just don't want to be fucking like a yes and sort of for fucking Sam and Emma.
Different things that Republicans, should not have been given credit for, because instead of micro-targeting this small sliver of voters, how about Democrats get behind a working class coalition that expands their coalition, that turns out folks like the Obama campaign did in 2008, who were disaffected by politics, who were inspired by a campaign, and it may not get consultants rich to have a great ground game, but we know that ads over and over again on television do. Target targeting those very small slice of voters. And the consultant rot in the Democratic Party has to be completely taken out so we can have a stronger party and build back better, not to use that phrase, but yes.
I got to say, just really quickly, it is not a legitimate line of questioning. I know Hakeem Jeffries wants to make it a legitimate line of questioning what apartment Zohran Mamdani lives in. It's not. It's not. Move on. Just vote, endorse, vote blue, do whatever you got to do, but just don't pretend that is a legitimate line of questioning and just drag us through for another several weeks of this painful lack of endorsement. But
I hope he doesn't endorse, because it's actually hurting him more than it's hurting Zohran Mamdani, because the more that Zohran looks like an anti-establishment figure opposed to these guys, the better it is for him. That's how hated Democratic leadership is in this country.
Yep, they need to get rid of this Hakeem Jeffries guy. They need to get rid of a lot of people, and they need to, like the Republicans. There's been a bit of a change of the guard, and it's Gen X essentially that runs the Republican Party now, and I think the Democrats need to follow suit there. So that's the show. Thanks for hanging out for the podcast part of the show. We're going to go into red light in a couple minutes here. If you're listening on the podcast, just understand that you should give me money, and you should do that at patreon.com/echoplex or at eplex.store. If you do $5 a month or higher at either of those places, you get the entire show sent to your inbox a day before it comes out on the podcast, and you get red light. Plus you get, used to be a spy before it comes out. I just dropped that last night. I wasn't feeling so great last night, but I did get some work done. The regular version of that podcast is going to come out in a couple days, and I hope you check that out. And I guess this is the part where I changed the color of the lights in the room, and I changed the contents of my beverage, and we go into red light. So as always, although we played a different song last week, this is Boomers by Periscope, and I will see everyone on the flip side.